I am really, really excited to introduce our guest. Our guest today is QpidLuv. QpidLuv is an author, he's a musician and a creator. He's also the chief creative operator and founder of Blackface Media Entertainment Group, and he's a former foster youth. QpidLuv, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here tonight.
Hello.
So
How are
great,
you
great
doing?
to talk to you. It's been a long, circuitous route for us to get together and make this happen because we're both super busy, but we made it happen. I have to say, you reached out to me a couple of months ago, and I get a lot of reach outs, and I take everyone seriously. I look into them. I clicked on your music and I was like, wait, what? Like, you're like, I'm a former foster youth and I'm doing this thing. And I was like, oh, amazing. Like, I would support that regardless of what the project is, because I just think it's so important for people to have an outlet and for foster youth to have a chance to get out there. And I will always support foster youth and do check out their stuff. But man, when I clicked on your stuff and then I went to the website and I saw like he's got these original characters. He's got uh, it looks like a graphic novel almost. Is it? Would you call it a graphic novel? Is there a graphic novel component to it?
Not as of right now, but a lot of those books and stories come from animes or comic books that I've created.
I see. Yeah, because I really get that. I get that vibe. My daughter is 10 and she's super into anime. She's super into like all of that stuff. And she got on there and started doing the character creator. And because you can like create your own character, and it's really, really very cool. Anyway, all this to say, this is a very long-winded way of saying that I was very impressed with the quality of your work.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. So I have so many questions for you, so many things to ask you about and talk to you about. Let's see, let's start here. Obviously, the reason why you reached out and the reason why I was so excited is because you were formerly in the foster care system. And I think it's so important to elevate voices with lived experience. I really take that seriously. And I think we can all learn from the people who actually were in the system living it and what that experience was like. So, if you are open to it, I would love to just talk about your time in foster care, how that started, what your life looked like before that and during that, as much as you want to go into, or as
Okay.
little as you want to go into.
Well, I'll start off by reintroducing myself. Love the World Bender,
The
also
world
known.
bender. I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Oh, it's
I missed the
perfectly
world bender.
fine. I'm currently 35. I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. I entered foster care at a very, very young age, at 2 months old, and I was in that system until the time I was emancipated.
Hmm.
My parents were actually lost to addiction, and that actually made me lost to the system in which I believed all these years.
Hmm.
So, from the moment of 2 months up until the time I was aged out, I've never really felt like I had a safe place or a forever home or something that I could call my own uh, safety net.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, but picture this: every few months, you have a new home, or every few years, you have a new home, new rules you have to follow, new faces you have to learn, a new bedroom you have to organize. Sometimes you learn not to unpack all the way, not because someone told you not to, but because you know deep down inside that some homes were actually good and cared about you, but the majority of the homes, especially with my experience, felt like they were just in it for the paycheck. They weren't
Hmm.
really in it to for my well-being.
Hmm.
And unfortunately for me, a lot of the years were like missed, or like kind of like a fade to black moment, to where before the age of 10, those experiences I had were really traumatic. So I really don't remember a lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't find a decent foster home until I was around the age of 13, up until the time I was emancipated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I did turn 14, there was this one woman who actually saw me not as a case file, but somebody who had potential, because I was told that I wouldn't graduate high school. I was told I couldn't read. I was told a whole bunch of different things, but she saw through all that. And
Mm-hmm.
through that, it helped me. It helped me be able to use my creative uh, vision, my imagination to create these worlds and a safe place for me to be able to escape to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Did you
so
start
the life
writing when you were that age? Did you start writing at like
when
13?
when I was like a teenager, like
Mm-hmm.
14, 15, 16, I actually started writing all this stuff down and stuff like that, started building these worlds. But I really didn't actually create or like publish any books from these stories until like the last few years,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which I feel like, it came late, but actually I believe it came at the right time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Talk about that. Why is it the right time right now?
well, because before then, it was just about how am I going to make it? How am I going to get through? How am I going to eat the next day? What am I supposed to do with my life? But now, but now I'm in the healing process. And this is a healing process that is ongoing and continuous,
Mm-hmm.
because the healing process to me is not like a destination on a map that you can just get to. The healing process is that road that you travel to reach that point, even though you may never get to that point of being fully healed.
Mm-hmm.
You will always continue to heal and grow and become better and be able to deal with that a lot better.
Yeah.
And at some point, I decided that not only are these stories good for me, not only was it escape for me, a place for me to be able to put all these thoughts and try to figure out the best option I have as far as like my healing, but I was able to create multiple books in multiple genres and music and podcasts and try to build this community, more specifically this Forever Home project and this Haven Ridge, because this place, this fictional place called Haven Ridge, this dream is a safe place for kids of all ages, even if you're aging out, even if you're just now, entering the foster care system or group home system or the system in general, and you don't feel like you have that safe place, if you don't feel like anyone is listening to you and you don't have a voice and your voice is not heard,
Mm-hmm.
I hear you because I felt you. I've lived that experience. And this dream, even though this dream is a very expensive dream, probably cost billions of dollars to make this fictional place a reality, but it has to start somewhere. And for me, it started as healing. It started as a pathway for me to be able to look past all the trauma I had, look past all the doubters to be able to find my own voice.
Mm-hmm. Wow. It seems like such a road from where you came from to here, and to be able to actually not just have the vision and the dream, but to actually be making that a reality in the material world is impressive. What do you attribute that to?
Hmm. So, if you mind elaborating a little bit on that.
Yeah, what I'm asking is like, how did you go from bouncing around from foster home to foster home, not having a place to call your own? Then, okay, it sounds like you found some stability at 13. So was it really that foster families or woman's um, guidance and help that put you on the right path, or did you have something innately in you um, that drove you to, like, you wanted to make this vision happen? Like, how did you actually get it into motion?
I would say a little bit of both, because
Mm-hmm.
yes, she gave me some of those tools I needed, but to me, at that point, the damage was already done, and
Mm-hmm.
she's just trying to put band-aids on it at this point.
Yeah.
But the strength and determination really came deep down inside of me because no matter how much she could have wanted it for me, I had to want it for myself.
Yeah.
And I've been through the system and I've seen a lot of other people who didn't choose that route.
Right.
They were emancipated and they either went further into substance abuse, or
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of other people who just didn't make it out at all, who decided that the end was better than trying to, figure out how to survive it.
Right.
And some others who went with the wrong crowd are probably, and I know that are, sitting in jail right now to learn from their mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So for me growing up, it definitely took a lot of me to be able to kind of like cut out all that noise and try to focus, even though I did have a lot of bumps and grinds along the way. And even at 35, I'm still going through that, trying to figure out the best
Mm-hmm.
move, still how to navigate and set myself up better for this world that we're living in.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I've stated, I really didn't feel like I had those tools. I didn't feel like
Mm-hmm.
I had that guidance until late on, and that moment in between was, very tragic. And when I did meet her, when she did come into my life, she definitely opened up my eyes to a lot of different things that I didn't know or that was
Mm-hmm.
never taught to me growing up in group homes and foster homes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So to answer your question, like I said, it'll be a little bit of both.
Right. Yeah, I got you. Did you stay with her until you were emancipated? And then what happens after that?
So what happens after I get emancipated? I graduated high school with a 3.5, which no one expected me to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and I
That's
was able to
awesome.
do that. So for me, that was a big achievement because
Yeah.
that literally put all those doubters, all those people that said I couldn't make it, all those people that said I would be a statistic and end up like everyone else. That put all of that behind me and let me know that no matter what someone says you can or can't do, you can achieve anything as long as you're determined to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's amazing. And
Uh,
then did you strike out on your own, or what was the next step for you? How did you make a living and figure all that out?
well, I'm still trying to currently make a living right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've been going through a lot of things. I've been a chef, I've been a massage therapist. I've definitely tried a lot of different things to see what would actually work for me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so writing or making music wasn't always my first choice. It was always just an outlet for me. I just most recently but started to turn that into something that uh, is actually something that people can actually follow and actually uh, uh, either take that within their life, whether they're in foster care or the
Mm-hmm.
system, or if they're a foster care provider. That they can take this story, take this my journey, and hopefully use it to be able to either improve theirs or help someone else improve theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes people do get it confused and confuse me with an advocate, but all of this to me wasn't advocacy. It was a way for me to heal and grow.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
if I could even help one person, if I could help one person realize that this dream of people being able to have everything they need whenever they're leaving foster care, whenever they're leaving the system, even if it's something small, that will help them.
Yeah.
And it would also give me the courage and strength to be able to reach out to more people to see how many more people I can help,
Mm-hmm.
establish their vision, establish their voice. Because following up on all of this to me, I would say is kind of by accident because I didn't plan to write books. I didn't plan to make music,
Wow.
but all of that came with time.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I don't feel like I'm where I need to be, because like I stated, I've been a chef, I've done so many other different things. Currently,
Mm-hmm.
I'm working as a chef in two restaurants right now while I'm trying to maintain my creative empire.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
which is, really tough. But
Yeah. Yeah. The life of a creative. I can attest. I mean, it's yeah, it's a hustle. It's a lot of hustle because you got to make money and you have to stay true to your vision and what you want to put out there. And it's a lot to juggle, and it gets exhausting. And it takes a certain kind of a person with a certain amount of grit to like hang in there and do it. You know, it does. It does.
and that's what's been a big thing for me, because no matter how life seemed to always go against me, or no matter how I feel like life is tough or I can't make it through a certain situation, I always do.
Yeah.
I always feel I find that strength inside of me to pull it through no matter what I'm going through.
Mm.
Because not only do I know there's people who have it worse, people that are continuously suffering in the foster care system. For example, most recently I read a story about this woman named Yanni, who ended up losing her child in the system. Child was only 3 years old, and she was taken away from that child, um, mainly because you know they were separated in the system. Not
Mm-hmm.
nothing any wrongdoing on her part, but the child was taken, and she was told she couldn't even take pictures with her own child, so she couldn't even
Mm.
share those memories with her own child
Yeah.
before her child ended up passing away in the system at 3 years old.
Mm.
And there was this other kid that really got me, that was in 18 different foster homes in 1 year. Now, I've been to like 20 different foster homes, but that was over a span of years in my whole entire life
Yeah.
in the foster care system. So for this kid to have to experience that kind of pain and turmoil and that undecisive feeling of like, where I belong? Does anybody care about me? Am I going to find something stable? That
Mm.
really hit home for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So when did you decide that you would want to? Because whether you say you're an advocate or not, you really kind of are. I mean, or you know what I mean? Like you kind of are
Right.
doing that work, which I think is beautiful. When did it click that you wanted to help other people through your art?
Most recently, because I most recently had a revelation after, I was creating all these different stories and books and music and stuff. And I was, at first, when I first started creating these stories, it was to give voices to, African Americans who really didn't have a voice in different genres like fantasy, dark romance, and things of that nature. But then I really looked deep inside the literature that I was writing, and I realized that every story comes from a character that has no lineage, no family, comes from a broken home, either from an orphanage or his family was killed or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or every story had uh, a presence of like this main character who is looking for belonging, looking for a home, looking for something he can latch on to, meanwhile fighting a system that was built against him. But eventually he always succeeds, or they always succeed and actually come out on top.
Mm-hmm.
And at that moment, once I realized that this story is a lot deeper than me trying to give, voices to those African American characters. It's a lot deeper than those fantasy or romance stories. It actually came from a stronger place, and that was me never feeling like I had a home, me never really feeling like I had a place to belong, a place to grow, and a community of people who felt or lived the same experience I did.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I decided that I'm more than just a person that's healing from my journey. I'm more than just a person that has this lived experience and is speaking out through it with music and art and books and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I'm someone who can actually touch other people and give other people that healing that they never had, or put people in that right direction. Because so many times, or so many kids I've seen get just, when they age out, they're just thrown to the wind with no guidance, no help, and that's not good. Because when you're in a system like that, you may not be killing that person or physically, but mentally you're destroying that person.
Yeah.
And this is not to say that foster care is bad, because it does help. Because there's so many kids in every state half of those kids won't can't even get a foster home because it's overpopulated and there's not enough funding and stuff or not enough homes for these kids.
Right.
But there definitely should be eyes on it because there's so much tragedy going on with it.
Yeah.
And most recently, within the last 3 to 5 years in North Carolina alone,
Hmm.
there's been like 60, 70 foster care kids that have ended up dead. And to me, even just one child is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Another story about a girl who was in custody in the actual building of a social service office and she got abused, which is insane because that's the only
Really.
place that she's supposed to feel safe.
Yeah.
That is, if not any place, that is a place she's supposed to feel safe and feel like she has people to protect her and look
Hmm.
after her well being. And they couldn't even do that. So, not to say that foster care is bad and that it should be gotten rid of, but it
Hmm.
definitely needs a reform. And
Right.
people really need to look into it and figure out how to actually help instead of just covering everything up with a band aid.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well said.
And I'm sorry, I sometimes like to get on these
No, don't
tangents and ramble
apologize. I
on.
love it. No, you have so much to say, and I really am just here for it. Like I'm totally here for it. Tell me about your name. So, Cupid Love the World Bender. Like, where'd you come up with that? Tell me about it. Any kind of an origin story. I love names, and I love to name things. So I'm always interested.
Well, Cupid Love always is something that I created when I was a teenager. It was a nickname for myself because I was always looking for that love, and if I couldn't find that love that I was looking for, I made it myself. So that's
Beautiful.
why it was just a long story that I end up sticking with as an author, and
Hmm.
I just stuck with that name.
I
The
love it.
World Bender is when I actually became an author and a creator, and that's because I tend to bend worlds in reality. So I take this reality that I'm living in when I was younger, and I didn't feel like it was really meant for me. Every turn, it seemed like it was some trauma or there was nothing that ended up right. So when I did use my imagination to create worlds, to create myself in a different place,
Hmm.
that to me is a world bender because I was able to bend this world that didn't show me the love to create a world that I could be loved at endlessly, a world that I can actually control the outcome to,
Hmm.
not a world that I'm living in to where I'm looking over my shoulder or trying to figure out how I'm going to get my next meal or growing up in foster care if the home that I'm going to is going to be just as bad as the last.
Hmm. Hmm.
So bending these worlds, creating these universes was not only a way to heal, but it was able from my I was able to put myself somewhere different.
Hmm. Yeah.
No matter how bad I was feeling at that time, no matter how much trauma was going through my mind, or even the stuff that I kept deep down and locked away that I can barely remember now.
Hmm.
Being able to bend those worlds was was able to give me like a brief amount of time to where I can still heal, but at my
Hmm.
own pace.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Tell us the premise of this project in particular so that the listeners kind of understand what it's about. You've mentioned it, but I think it's worthwhile to just explain it a little bit more so people can really follow it. And also, let's give the website right now. So if somebody's listening and they want to like listen and look it up while they're listening, we could do that.
Okay. So if you're looking specifically about the Forever Home Project and the Safe Home
Hmm.
Chronicles, you can find that on foreversafehome.com.
Hmm.
If you were looking for my complete inventory, if you just want a really good story and you're looking for like all of my works as far as music, books, comics, things of that nature, you will head over to blackfacemedia.com. Now, a little bit about this Safe Home Chronicles story, Forever Home. So, picture you're a kid around 9, 10 years old. You're sitting in the corner of a room. Everyone around him is gone, passed away from overdose, and they're not coming back. But the boy is sitting in the corner. He's quiet. He's not screaming. He's not quiet. He's just sitting there, watching, still. Because somewhere along the way, he learned that staying still and keeping quiet keeps you alive. And that is not a metaphor. That is how the book opens. That is how the book starts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Takim, and most of this story is very silent. He doesn't speak and he communicates through writing.
Mm-hmm.
He eventually gets rescued from this abandoned building by the Haven Ridge Task Force, which takes him to a place called Haven Ridge, where pieces of him start to come back. He starts to remember a girl from his past that he grew up in foster care, who's also happened to be rescued by Haven Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
He becomes a star on the basketball team, where like his skills shine on the basketball court, and everybody knows his name. He has people that are cheering his name, things that he never had before. He feels like he's in a place to where he belongs. So this story follows him growing up in this place called Haven Ridge, where when he enters, he's into the youth section to where this is a big town community to where in this particular section there's multiple houses and each house has a set of five kids, but these
Mm-hmm.
five kids will become uh, brothers and sisters to where they're a family unit, and they end up seeing these kids in school, seeing these kids around town.
Mm-hmm.
So they will always closely interact with these specific kids, which we call them in the story the Haven Five.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Uh, so when he's there, it is hard for him because he doesn't speak, and people that also grew up in foster care and who were rescued from these traumatic experiences, they're there. They're there too, and they're all trying to figure things out together. But the
Mm-hmm.
difference is they have a group of people who are there to help them grow, help them deal with all those challenges. And you might see later on in the story that he starts falling for the girl that's been there with him through it all from the beginning, who took a pause between the time of him leaving that particular foster home and him being found at this abandoned warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
But once they reconnected at Haven Ridge, she was the anchor that helped bring everything out of him that he was holding on to.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the story, he'll end up saying his first words. Now, I won't spill the tea and let you know what those first words are, but that's something you can look forward to. But this
Mm-hmm.
is a journey. This is his healing process that you're going to see. The story's full of laughs, full of drama, but also full of healing and belonging. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was missing growing up that I never really felt like I fully received. But in this story, he gets all of that.
Mm-hmm.
He gets everything that I wish I had.
That's
And
beautiful.
that is the Safe Home Chronicles Forever Home.
Mm-hmm. So it's a series of books, or is it
Correct.
just one book so far?
Right now it's one book so far,
Yeah.
but it will the series will continue.
Got it.
I'm still working on a book two right now. I'm
Yeah.
also just finished another project that I was working on. We can probably talk about it later if you're interested.
Yes,
But
I am interested, but I want to get to the music part of it too, because I'm very interested in your dual. So you've got a soundtrack there that goes with this, with the Chronicles, right? Is that how it works? And is the listener supposed to listen at a certain time when they're reading this book, the different tracks? Or is it like that?
it is not like that. That is an amazing angle that I may work in later on down the road. That,
You're welcome.
thank
I'll
you.
expect my cut. No, I'm only kidding. I'm just kidding. No. It's but
But
I do think that would be cool, right? Like,
That would be cool, and I'll have to
Yeah.
figure out how to work that out to make sure that it flows properly.
Right.
Um, but as far as the music, it's just something that people can listen to because I love music as well, and I also love reading and listening to stories.
Mm-hmm.
And for my audience, I believe that they love music as well. And these artists tell a story through their songs. So each one of these songs is either comes from a piece of this story or a
Mm-hmm.
piece of an emotion created by this story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure.
Uh, so that's what you're getting in this soundtrack.
Yeah, because I hear that. Who are the other artists that are on the music? And how did you find them? And all, is it just your friends, or how did you do that? Because they sound very talented, also.
These are friends that I was able to meet along the way,
Mm-hmm.
and for a majority of them, they just love really good music, and like they're willing to help me out anytime I need it. So normally I could send over lyrics or send over a hook to them and tell them like this is what I'm trying to create. This is what I'm trying to build for this particular chapter, or I would like this particular song for this part of the album. And they
Mm-hmm.
normally come back to me with their edition. Now I will clean it up and send it back to them and let them know or ask them if this is what they like, if they're comfortable with the sound, because
Right.
it will be released. And then I release it. Right now, I'm still dealing with all the marketing and stuff because I'm always so busy, and a lot of this stuff I
Yeah.
do mostly by myself. So trying to get all this stuff together and get all this stuff out has definitely been a struggle, but they've been very patient with me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how did you get those skills? Like, how did you become like a music producer, like a I'm assuming you're like an engineer and you can like do it all and all of that kind of stuff. Like, where did you get those skills?
When I was growing up, so there was a time, mainly when I was approaching 17, 18, there
Mm-hmm.
was a time to where I was uh, actually met one of my biological sisters because I met a couple of them along the way, but I have a really big family, 11 brothers and sisters and stuff. So
Oh, wow.
it's a really big family. We
Mm-hmm.
all were separated, but I was able to meet some of them, and one of them had a boyfriend who was definitely into like studios and creating music. So I sat there and I learned everything from him about how to produce music, how to mix and master, and things like that. So eventually, over the last 15 or so years, I've been honing that skill.
That's so great. Wow. And did you stay in touch with your biological family at all? Any of them?
Yes, I'm in touch with them now. My
Mm-hmm.
relationship with them isn't as strong as I like because, like I've stated multiple times, I'm still dealing with my healing journey. This is still part of my healing process.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up, I was always a loner. Even now, I'm a really big loner and a very big introvert. So for me
Mm-hmm.
to be able to reach out to my family and talk to them has always been a struggle for me, even though I know they love me and care about me. And when I do reach out to them, they show me the utmost support and care.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but that's something that I still struggle with myself.
Mm-hmm. And did they get in touch with you or did you seek them out?
A little bit of both, because
Mm-hmm.
one of my older sisters always kept in contact with my newer foster mother and stuff like that. So we was always had close contact, and she's the link to the rest of my family. She knows the complete rest of the side of my family. So she was my entry way to even meet everyone else, my
Mm-hmm.
mother, my other sisters and brothers and stuff like that.
Wow.
So
Mm-hmm.
thankfully, and that is the same sister that I did, have some moments with. I was in some foster homes with, but not many. So she's the
Okay.
one that I always either had on my visiting list or something like that. So I've
Right.
always had some contact with her.
Right. Right. What is that like to be separated from your siblings? Like, I guess you were so young when it first happened. You said you were like a baby. So did you miss them, or did you just, because you never really knew anything, you didn't really, did you have attachments with them? What? What was that like?
And that's the thing that I did struggle with is because I didn't have any attachment. I really wanted one. I really like every time I either got switched to a new home or went to or I got a call or a social worker came to talk to me, I was hoping that they was like gonna tell me we found another brother and sister, or
Hmm.
you can, finally now be able to meet your mother and things of that nature. But none of that stuff ever came. And for me growing up in my adult years, I do believe that that did have some kind of psychological effect on me in order that that kind of forced me more towards being an introvert and being a loner, more so than me actually going out and seeking this love. To me, at that point, my mind was like, no one loves me, no one cares about me. I have to do this myself. Even though in the
Mm.
back of my mind, I'm like, I know they care about me. Even to this day, they're asking me when I'm going to come back to St. Louis because I moved away 8 years ago. To,
Mm.
just so I can, find myself. And I stayed away, even though I wanted to go back every year, and even made promises some years that I was going to come back, but I didn't make that leap yet. And hopefully, I can do that this year.
Hmm.
but
Yeah, it's a
but
process.
it it really did play a pivotal moment in my adulthood because I still want that connection. I still want that love and support, knowing that they have my back no matter what. And like I said, even though it's there in my head,
Yeah.
like in the back of it, like towards the forefront, I still feel like alone. I still feel like who's listening to me? Is my voice going to be heard?
Uh-huh.
Am I ever going to find that place to where I can just sit back, relax, and know that I have an actual family, an actual
Hmm.
forever home?
Hmm. Yeah. Did you stay in touch with the foster mom that you lived with?
Yes, I actually talked to her last week.
Oh, nice.
And she had a couple other foster brothers I grew up with, and that's another one of my lived experience. I think I brought up a little bit earlier. Like one of the foster kids that she raised with me when I was that age, 13 and up. He recently, I don't know if we can say this, but unalived himself, and then
Okay.
another one
Yeah,
ended up
sure.
in jail for you know 15 to 20 years because he was hanging out with the wrong crowd, and they end up trying to rob someone for their shoes and they end up killing that person. But he wasn't the gunman, but he was there.
Yeah.
So she's going through a lot right now because she feels like she didn't do the right job. But I'm trying to reassure her and let her know that you did a perfect job because it really helped me out. And even though unfortunately it didn't work out for them, you
Hmm.
taught me the same things you taught them. They chose their own path. You're
Hmm.
not in control of the path they choose for themselves. You can only lay down the groundwork.
Hmm.
And fortunately for me, I actually listened. I took those lessons, whatever she was teaching me. Yeah, there was some pushback because I was a an adolescent growing up, and I really wanted to do things my way. But those important things, I did listen to her, and that's why I can say that's why I'm in the place I am now, even though there's still a lot more to achieve and a lot more to do. But she definitely set me on the right path.
Mm. I hope she listens to this podcast.
I'm definitely gonna have her
That's cool.
listen to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have so many listeners who take in teens, and it ends up being a really difficult road many of the times, not all of the time, but a lot of times. I'm wondering what made you trust her? What was it about her that was different than all the other foster homes before that?
Honestly, my mental state at that time, I was tired. I was
Mm,
tired of going to foster home from foster home, getting neglected, abused, treated like I didn't matter.
mm-hmm,
So when she showed me just a little bit of support, a little bit of care, the things that I've never ever received before, I started to trust her. Not even, not even really by like my own choice. I just started to trust her. She
mm-hmm,
was, and I told her what I wanted to do when I grew up, and I was like, yeah, I just want to, run the streets, do this, do that, make money doing this and that. And she was like, "That's a terrible idea. You're not going to do that. You're gonna you're gonna get your life together." Like,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things that is really important that she did is when I entered high school, she told me to take typing class. She was like, "You're
Mm.
gonna learn how to type." And I was like, "I don't want to do that. That's stupid. Who wants to do that?" But I did it anyways, became really good at it, and
Wow.
that helped me when I started to like write books, when I started to publish, when I started to
Uh-huh.
like edit my own content and things of that nature. I contribute that to her because without her having me do that, I would have never started writing.
Yeah.
If she didn't supply me with those books that I've read when I was younger, like books like The Coldest Winter Ever, or Makes Me Want to Holler by Nathan McCall. Like
Mm.
if I didn't read those books
Mm-hmm.
growing up, if she didn't hand me those books, because she was also told that I couldn't read, and she was like, "That is BS. I know you can read. I know you can do it." So when I started reading and started relaying and comprehending those books and actually be able to tell her what these books are about and things like that, she was impressed, but like she already knew I could do this.
Right. That's
And
incredible. She believed in you.
yes, so I've read a lot of books, and it would be unfair for me to say that all those books and stories that I've read did not contribute to the stories that I create now, because they
Right.
all did.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, those books, those that lived experience that I had, even when things actually was able to mellow out into a peaceful moment when I actually met her and started listening and started actually healing, because
Mm-hmm.
that's when the process of healing actually started. Is when I
Right.
got there, because before then it was just complete chaos, and I didn't even know if I would have made it. But
Right.
here I am today,
Yeah.
and I can attribute that to her as well as myself, because, like I said, it definitely took a lot of me to be able to focus and listen, because there's so many who don't.
Right.
But with her help and my own persistence, I was able to find my way through. And for me, that light at the end of the tunnel was never there. Some people always talk about there's a brighter light at the end of the tunnel. Keep on fighting, just keep on at it, and you will see the light. But that light right now is dim. It was never there. So what I did was I brought my own flashlight, and by me bringing my own flashlight, I was able to guide myself and follow my own light. So even if I never make it to that light,
Mm-hmm.
I created my own. And
Wow.
what this Haven Ridge and Forever Home project is I encourage everyone to bring their flashlight, because with all of our lights together, our
Mm-hmm.
light will be bigger than whatever light may be at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
We can create our own destiny. We can create our own path, no matter what's put in front of us. No matter if we only see a sliver of light.
Yeah. Do you ever work directly with youth? Because it seems like you would be so good at that and they would just look up to you so much.
I do not. So, like I stated, like this revelation just came to me about me being able to help people, because at first it was
Right.
just my journey,
Yep.
how I'm gonna heal, how I'm gonna become better. So, like just most recently, less than a year, I thought that maybe I can help someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all still fresh and new to me.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to find my voice, find my audience that actually can resonate with this, and you know, actually feel the things that I've been through, but also encourage them to want to make this change,
Mm-hmm.
to want to help other people who are growing up in foster care right now, who still may be in abusive foster situations,
Mm-hmm.
kids that have aged out, that don't know where they're going, don't know where what life is has in store for them. And
Yep.
it's not for them to figure out right away, because God forbid it took me a while. I'm still trying to figure it all out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it starts somewhere. And that somewhere is taking out that flashlight, making sure there's batteries in it, and turning it on.
Extraordinary. Really. Do you are you a person of faith and spirituality or no? Not that I have a thought on either one. I mean, I have many thoughts, but like, I'm just curious.
I was raised in Christian households and things like that. As
Yeah.
far as my faith now, I wouldn't necessarily call me Christian, but I am spiritual, and I do believe in a divine power and a divine purpose. And at first, I didn't know what my purpose was. I thought my purpose was just to create these stories for people to be interested in enough to buy and fall in love with. But
Right.
my deeper purpose that I'm starting to realize is that I can actually help people. I can actually help people heal that would have never gotten that chance to heal, just like I got that chance that I thought I would never have. And even though it never fully healed me, it helped. And that's what I want to do for other people. I want to help.
Mm, I feel it. Like, I really feel it. I see it. Like, the light. I see the light inside of you, and it shines so brightly, and that's really cool. Tell me about your other projects, what you're working with, all different kinds of organizations, it looks like Foster Love, Pact. Tell me about all of your work with them. And
Well,
FYI.
I just started off trying to work with them. So any amount of sales that I get, a certain percentage of any profit that I make is going to be donated to those organizations.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I like
Because
that.
even though I can't build this Haven Ridge fantasy myself, at least this is a good stepping stone that can help someone to where I can't directly help them myself. These funds or this contribution will be able to help them in some kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Excellent. What other creative projects are you working on right now?
So, my Forever Home project is where it all started. That is
Okay.
like a fictional memoir of a kid growing up in the system, but actually gets those tools that I never actually had.
Right. Yeah.
But this thing that I just finished creating is called Asmodean Whispers Beneath the Couch. Now,
Okay.
this is a novel. It's also audio series on Pocket FM called Deadly Confessions.
Hmm.
And I'm also working on cinematic music drama thriller uh, off of this same world. Now, this follows a black trauma therapist also raised in a system. He was found outside the doorsteps of an orphanage. Uh, his whole life, he had voices in his head. People thought he was crazy. People thought he had multiple personalities. So they heavily medicated him. It turns out when he was an adult that this was never a symptom. He was actually possessed by something very ancient, an entity named Asmodean.
Hmm.
Now, this entity has been suppressed since he was younger, but when he became older, he became a trauma therapist and he stopped taking his medication. So this entity reappeared. And as this therapist, whose name is Dr. Benjamin or Bartholomew Benjamin, after his clients confess things to him in therapy that they've never told anyone else, those confessions are not only heard by him, but heard by Asmodean. Now, this is a dark, supernatural, romantic drama thriller. And once these clients tell the story and this story is heard, this entity goes out, searches for these heinous criminals and predators that committed these crimes, and he executes them and takes their soul to a place called the Mirror of Consequence, a place to where they will have to relive that trauma or that pain that they caused someone else for eternity.
Wow.
also throughout this story, there's a person that's investigating, as well as the same person that is uh, rescuing these trauma patients. And while she's investigating the story, the criminals that she finds somehow ends up dead. Now, she knows Benjamin, and eventually she finds out that he is being possessed by an entity. But when she does find out, she doesn't say anything because even though killing is a crime and he's still technically killing these people,
Mm-hmm.
for somehow she gets brief satisfaction knowing that these criminals can't hurt anybody else,
Right.
even if the justice system would just lock them away, maybe even release them on some occasions.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to escape true judgment or true justice because they will always have to face and answer the consequence in the mirror.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That sounds really cool.
It is, and she actually starts to fall in love with him and the entity inside of him.
Wow. I
So she
love
likes the
it.
best of both worlds.
I love it. Wow.
So
If
that's
you're
the
ever
newest
looking
thing I'm
for a
working
female
on.
narrator, I'm here for it because that sounds really cool.
I'm
That
definitely
sounds
looking for
awesome.
that. So hopefully you got enough time in your schedule in the future because I will definitely be
We'll
looking for
talk.
that.
We'll talk.
Awesome.
That's so cool. And then wait, you said something else. So you have the this new book that you just created, the Confessions, and then you said there were two other things that you mentioned that my ears perked up. What were the other two things?
One is an audio series on Pocket FM called Daily Confessions,
Oh yeah, okay. Excellent. So is
which is
that
a
like a
shorter
like an
version of that
audio
story.
drama? Oh, it's a
Yes,
shorter version of that. Okay.
yes, yes,
Uh-huh.
yes. So like a shorter, more stylized version of that story, which pretty much follows the victim confessing, the entity going out pursuing these criminals, and the conflict and love drama circling around Abby, who is the detective agent, Asmodean, and Yas, who is a demon princess who is inside that mirror of consequence,
Wow.
who the entity is in love with, even though he's sharing a body with the human who's actually in love with Abby.
Right.
So you're going to see a lot of that love triangle drama play out
Oh,
within the
that's really
story.
cool. That's interesting. I like it.
But the shorter Pocket FM version obviously is an audio version people can actually go to right now and start listening to.
Uh-huh.
And I upload chapters, new chapters every week to that story. But the actual novel is deeper, darker, unfiltered. You actually get complete erotic scenes, complete kill scenes, and things that I can't really put on Pocket FM
Right.
because
Yeah.
of their content guidelines.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
So you're getting all of that in this book versus you're still getting a great story with daily confessions with this cinematic music drama.
Mm.
What you're getting is you're getting a song. So I have an artist that specifically is going to sing for the victim. So every song that she sings will be for a particular victim for that
Mm.
particular episode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The next single will be the response from Benjamin. And Benjamin is played by one musical artist. And every time he responds, you will hear a song from this particular artist.
Mm.
Same with Asmodean. When he's going out there hunting these criminals, when he's going out there chasing them and killing them, taking their soul to the mirror of consequences,
Mm-hmm.
this is sung by one particular artist every single episode, as
Oh
well as
wow.
Abby in her session, which can sometimes get a little chaotic, toxic, and a little hot. So you're definitely going to want to tune into that as well. But all of these artists have different viewpoint, distinctive voices, and they follow this story that even if you're not a book person, even if you don't want to hear someone telling you a story, you can
Mm-hmm.
vibe with the music. And that's why I created this music series as well.
Mm. So you're writing all the music for it.
Correct.
And who did the illustrations that were on the other project that I saw, the Forever Home project?
I have a friend that I added a part of my team who actually helps me come up with these graphic designs. I tell
Yep.
them exactly like my vision for these things, and then
Yeah.
they come back to me uh with graphics like
Because
digital
those are
design, and I'm like,
also, yeah, like really cool looking and very high quality. Yeah, I liked it. I liked the way it looked.
and
That's
like
why I thought it was a
sometimes
graphic novel, I think, at first, because I was like, it looked, I could see it as a graphic novel. Yeah, it's cool.
and I've tried like some of my earlier works are graphic novels and things of that nature, but I'm moving more towards like letting people feel the story and not getting caught with the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to actually uh, follow the characters, build their own visual of what they think the characters may look like, or
Mm-hmm.
how they feel these characters are performing within the story.
Gotcha.
Uh, Eventually, I will be coming up with different kind of like anime shorts or film shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Once I can get that worked inside of my pipeline, but right now I'm really busy just trying to get the engine to start running in this
Oh
machine.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I there's not enough hours in the day, is there? Like, I mean, legit. And you're working two jobs. So, yeah. I get it.
like I have tons of content, a huge digital
Right.
footprint, but right now I'm stuck at trying to market, trying to get my content in front of people, which has really been the struggle dealing with all these
Uh-huh.
platforms right now,
Uh-huh. What would
especially when you're
help
starting
you the
from nothing.
most? Like, curious, what if you had, what would help you the most? Just in case somebody's listening and they want to help you.
Uh, Pretty much follow me. The more eyes that I can get on this story, on these stories, the more people that I can have immerse themselves into this world, into this Forever Home project. People that I can get to enjoy stories like Asmodee and Whispers Beneath the Couch and my
Mm-hmm.
other titles.
Mm-hmm.
If people can actually genuinely, if those stories are actually put in front of them, they can actually enjoy them, read them, and get the same kind of enjoyment that I got out of them when I created them.
Right.
And the problem that I'm dealing with these platforms and their algorithms right now is they don't want to put my content out to people. Sometimes I may get 50 views, 200
Right.
views, and
Right.
it just normally doesn't work for me. So I sit here and I try like every single thing I can think of to try to get myself seen. And that's
Yeah.
really been a struggle right now. So honestly, I believe like getting my content in front of viewers, giving them a chance to figure out if they like it or don't is
Mm-hmm.
probably what I'm really missing. Bringing in that
Mm-hmm.
real fan base who actually feels me and
Right.
actually hears my voice.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Um, what advice would you give to, I want to hear both your advice to, let's start here. What's your advice to youth who are still in the system or maybe recently aged out? What advice would you give to them?
Okay, so my advice for them is never give up. You are not what happened to you. You're not what you're going through right now. You're bigger and better than everything that you've experienced or may briefly experience in your future. And more importantly, be your own healing process because you can talk to as many therapists as you want. You can talk to as many counselors, as many friends, as many family members. But the real healing starts inside yourself. And you really have to sit down and talk with yourself and figure out what you actually need, the things that are not given to you. Even if you figure out, or even if you find that they won't be given to you and you actually have to create them or go out there and figure out the closest things to be able to get these things you need, you have to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get a lot of people that tell you that you can't do it. You're going to get a lot of people that tell you just to give up, or you're going to have those friends and people that try to pull you into the wrong direction. The most important thing is you got to keep your flashlight on. Like It's important to have a flashlight and to be able to create your own healing, your own story, your own life. But having that flashlight is only half the battle. If you never have it on, if that light is never showing you, guiding you where you need to go, then you're still going to be stuck in that same place.
Mm-hmm.
So my advice is grab your flashlight, make sure the batteries are working, turn it on, and hopefully you can see a little bit of what I see,
I love that
which you do
metaphor.
have a future.
I love it so much. Thank you. That's so great. And what about, since most of our listeners are, in fact, people who are either interested in fostering to hopefully possibly adopt, um, what is your, or maybe currently in that situation, any advice or words of wisdom for them?
Absolutely. So the main thing is
Where do I start?
don't do it for a paycheck.
Hmm.
Don't do it just because you feel like you're doing a good deed helping out, because it's so much bigger than that. Try to show up consistently, because that's one thing most of us never had. We never had something that's consistent, something that we can look forward to the next day and the next day and the next day. And I know a lot of these foster parents and a lot of these homes, they get kids that act out, or they perceive these kids as bad kids. But just hear me out. Like, when a kid acts out, it's not because the kid is bad. The kid is probably scared. That kid probably has so much trauma that they have built up that they don't even know how to handle. Me as an adult is still struggling to try to handle those things. So mm, just be patient with them. Try to see through all that noise that they may create, because deep down inside, there's a kid that is struggling, a kid that needs you, a kid that never had love, a kid that never had that feeling of someone to be there all the time, that's actually wants them to succeed, that wants them to do well. Like, for the majority of my foster care, I didn't have that. So if you can give that to that child, if you can help this child by trying to set them up with tools, like I didn't know how to balance a checkbook, I didn't know how to budget, um, I didn't know how to deal with like friendships and relationships. Like I never really had that. So by being able to help kids, giving them those kind of experiences, not just being there and letting the kid run wild doing whatever they want to do. No, like actually be there, be consistent, be there for that kid, because he needs you, she needs you. So many more kids that will even not even be able to get a foster home because there's not that many out there. So for the foster homes that are out there, they need to be tip top. They need to be at a higher level, because there's half of the kids in the world that won't get that. Who's being shuffled through like social security office, social service offices, or being shuffled through group homes or orphanages, and will never or might not get that chance, and will be aged out and thrown and cast to the wolves. Try to help. Do what
Hmm.
you can to help, because they need it. And I know there's good ones out there because I received one. I got one, even though I went through like 19 ones that were not. I finally was able to find one. And I know there's more of them out there. So, and I know, even if you want to be a parent, if you are a current parent, I know that's the kind of foster parent you want to be. Like, treat that kid as if that kid came from your own flesh, because that's what my late foster mom did for me. And that's what helped me, because at first I didn't think anybody cared. So I was like, should I even care about myself? But that little brief time span in those years showed me that there are people that care about you. And even if you don't quite open up to them people right away, because I didn't, it took me a while to open up to her. But once I did, I felt so relieved. And that's when it all clicked and started for me. And if you can give that to another child, You can give that even to a teenager. Even if you get a teenager in your care, there's still time. It's not a moment where like, oh, you're running out of time or it's too late. Even if they were like 17, they only have one more year with you. That 1 year can make a difference. So
Beautiful. Thank you. I think that's a great place to end. I thank you so much for your time. I'm so honored to have you on. I'm so glad that you reached out to me. And I'm just wishing you all the luck and support and love and money for your projects and everything and more than your wildest dreams. I truly mean that.
thank you so much. And I definitely would like to stay connected with you because no telling what, how our paths can cross again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Be doing more podcasts. Definitely could have you narrate some stories for me. So like
Yeah.
I
I
definitely would
love
love to
it.
keep that line of communication open as well as you might know some other people dealing with this same issue or people in this community that I don't have access to right now. And I would love to
Right.
have access to. I would love to be able to reach those people. And I do thank you for
Absolutely.
bringing me on because um, I was accepted by a couple interviews throughout this time period, and I did a few of them. But I sent out tons of emails, and not a lot of people reached back out to me. So I do appreciate you taking the time to reach out to me and hear my voice, because again, you show me that people are interested in my voice. People do want this message to get out, and people do care. And I shouldn't stop because there's so many times me trying to post content, me, spending money in these ways to try to make content and things like that. And it's really discouraging. But this right here, other stories of people actually caring and wanting to get the story out, that makes a difference to help me keep on going and letting me know that my healing process for me is not in vain and that it's working for me and it can potentially work for somebody else if I keep on working at it. So I appreciate you and thank you so much for bringing me on.
Absolutely. Well said. We will definitely stay in touch.
And I will be
Thank
sending
you.
over all of my links to you via email just in case you would like to share those with the audience
Oh,
later.
absolutely. Oh my gosh, yeah. Let's not forget that. Tell them one more time where they can find you. I will also post it in the link on the show notes. And absolutely, go for it. Where can they find you?
All right. So if you are looking for music, you can always check out my Spotify playlist, which is Blackface Radio, which we add more songs by all the artists that collaborate with Blackface Records. You can also find our audio series called Deadly Confessions on Pocket FM. Just search Deadly Confessions. If you're looking for our whole Forever Home project in our universe, uh, like she stated, that website has so much stuff you can do on it. That is foreversafehome.com. And if you're looking for everything, like all of my books, all of my music, anything that I'm working on, could be things I worked on years ago, could be things I'm working on in the future, that would be blackfacemedia.com. For my social media handles like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, I will post those later for you. So I'll have to search and
This
pull
man
those
can
up, and
be
I don't
found. He can
want.
be found all around the internet. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. We'll definitely stay in touch. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been awesome.